another season in the lawn is finally upon us. It's starting to warm up. The birds are starting to chirp. The grass is starting to wake up. And like many people, I'm getting out into my lawn for the first time and really getting a good look around and saying, what am I going to do this year to really make big strides in the lawn? What am I going to do to really push my growth in a way that really dominates the neighborhood that we love to do so much? But up until now, I've just relied on visual cues. You know, I had 10 years in turf grass management, and I always just relied, even when I was recommending things to our customer base, you know, it looks like this, so you might need this, or maybe more nitrogen, or maybe more this, or maybe more that, but you were never really sure. And I was giving these recommendations out to customers and selling products based on inferences and guesses. And while a lot of times we don't need to overcomplicate things in the lawn, there are things out there that can really help us get a great idea of what's really going on in our soil level, so that when it comes time to pushing our lawn in a certain direction, we know that we're doing it in not only a fruitful way, but a way that's healthy overall for the turf stand. There's nothing wrong with going off of visual cues, and I personally recommend that that be your number one driving factor. Today, we have more advanced ways that the homeowner and the DIY guy or girl out there can really know what's going on in their soil test. So today, on the first episode of the Pursuit of Growth in the Lawn series, we're going to take our first steps towards really understanding what's going on in our turf and in our soil levels with the Yard Mastery soil sample test. Right at the outset, I want to be upfront, open, and honest. I do have a relationship with the owner of Yard Mastery. I do not have a relationship with the soil testing company, but I do have a relationship with Yard Mastery. We'll get into that in subsequent videos, but I wanted to put that out there. This is not a review of the product. I know the product works. I was involved in the announcements of this product. It's already out in the market, and people are having great results with it. So this is not a review. This is just, it's not even really a how-to. This channel isn't going to be set up as a how-to channel. It's just kind of a follow along as I get out in my yard and do certain things. You can, if there's things you learn from it, great, but this isn't really as much a how-to channel as it is kind of like a yard vlog and things of that nature. But I just want to put that out there real quick. So everything you'll see me use in subsequent videos can either be found on the Yard Mastery website or Allyn Hane's The Lawn Care Nut channel. And the types of products we'll be using are Yard Mastery's products themselves. We'll be talking a lot about and using Carbon Earth products, as well as Green County Fertilizer products. There'll be some Sunnyland products mixed in. And again, this isn't a review of any of those products, but just a showcasing of them because I already know they work. I already have a whole season of, why am I still holding this? I already have a whole season under my belt of using all the products I plan to showcase in this year's growing season and in this vlog format. I did a whole renovation that I might, show at different parts of this growing season last year using all the products. I know they work. Unfortunately, though, I had 2 soil testing kits. As you'll see in the video, I was able to bless somebody with one that really needed one. And that was just a great experience. When I was shooting this, I already used everything. So when you open the box, you're going to find that right here is where your soil test itself is going to be. It comes with a scooper and a bit of paperwork. And again, I apologize. I expected to have this stuff to show in an unopened and unused format, but I'm glad that I was able to bless a nice lady and meet a neighbor and give her something that she can go out and immediately start using. So with all that being said, I'm going to stop sitting here and talking into my webcam, and let's get into the yard footage that I filmed this morning because it was freaking beautiful out. So these are the tools you'll need to get the job done. You'll obviously need the soil test kit and everything that comes with that. You'll need a digging implement to get the soil out of the ground. And lastly, you'll need a small bag to collect the samples throughout the yard. I found that a shovel like this with a serrated edge works really good for getting through the grass layer and the thatch. So this was my first sample, and right as I started digging, a woman approached, and we got to just exchanging pleasantries. And well, I'll just let you listen. I apologize for the audio quality, but just try to listen in. It was a really awesome experience.
Morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Excellent.
You digging for gold?
just doing a soil test for the upcoming season.
Really? How can I do that in my yard?
You go on YouTube at all?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be putting on an instructional video on exactly how you can do it and where to get the supplies from and everything.
Really?
Yes, ma'am. You go, basically, if you go on to yardmastery.com, you can get a soil test. It'll tell you exactly what's available to your grass or your, I'll make sure it stay over here, but it'll tell you exactly what's available right now to for your grass, your garden, your vegetables, what have you. And from there, you can make adjustments, whether it be more nitrogen, more...
Yeah, that's what I need to know. I've got one section of my flowers where nothing grows.
You know what? Give me 1 second. You mind waiting 1 second?
No.
Just 1 second, and I will be right back out with something. So, as my gift to you...
What?
I want to give you one.
Get out.
Yes, ma'am. So, I'll put it here, and you can grab it, because I'm big on the social distancing thing right now.
Okay, that's fine.
But if you go onto YouTube and search for that soil test, he already has videos out. Oh, pardon me, I'm out of breath. I'm running up and getting that. It'll show you everything you need to do to get your results. You mail it in, no contact with anybody, and you register it on Yard Mastery's website. And within a couple weeks, I'm saying a couple weeks now because everybody's sending them in because it's spring. But I've seen people get them back in 5 days, and they'll tell you everything you need to know.
That's perfect. That's exactly what I need because I'm at a loss. I baby this flower bed. I put this in. I put that in. Everything else looks nice.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I can promise you if you here you go. If you check, you're looking for the lawn care nut.
Okay.
His name's Allyn Hane. I work for him for his online group. And he has videos on exactly how to do that.
Okay.
Just YouTube him. Just Yard Mastery Soil Test Kit.
Okay.
And then I put that sticker on there with the Pursuit of Growth. That's my channel. Hopefully in a day or two, I'm filming today, I'll have something out about it. I'm telling you, you'll really, it's exactly what you're looking for.
I'm going to look this up. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
You have a good day.
You too. Take care. My name's Craig, by the way. So I don't know if how much of that was going to pick up on the camera. I didn't stop recording for any of that, but in times like these, this is when neighborly care and love are really going to get us through. So, you know, that lady said, hey, that soil test is exactly what I need. So I said, you know what, let me just give you my other one. I can always get another one. Right now, what we need is community so much. As we're shut up in our houses and we're practicing all the social distancing, rare moments like that are really, and we kept our distance. I don't know if you heard me say, hey, I'm really trying to focus on this stuff, but I gave her the Yard Mastery kit. I told her where to find information on it, and she said, that's exactly what I need for my lawn. So just, wow, it's amazing how stuff like that happens. And if you open your eyes to it, there are times every day where the Lord gives you opportunities to bless somebody. And it's just a soil test. But, in times like these where we're looking for community and stuff, I don't know what else to say about it. It's just a great little experience. So let's get back to it. So again, my vision for this is more of a vlog style lawn care series, not a how-to series, but we'll talk about the important things. Check out the packaging for all the instructions on how to do this. Allyn has some really great instructions and nitty-gritty stuff about the Yard Mastery Soil Sample Kit in his videos, which I'll link below. But as you can see here, I'm just going through my turf stand and I'm pulling out plugs from all the different areas at a depth of 4 to 6 inches to really get us a good understanding of what's going on at the lower root level. So as you see, I'm making sure that I get a number of samples throughout the different zones of my yard. As you can see there, I'm getting a sample that gets early morning sun. Then I'll move over and get a sample that pretty much stays shady all the time. And then I move over and get a third sample where it gets late afternoon sun. And this will really show you what's going on throughout the totality of your turf stand.
Now here's some roots for you. See that? That's beautiful. And just think, most of this turf right here isn't even a year old yet. That's amazing. That is really something special. Look at here. As they like to say, how about them roots, John Perry?
The bag comes in really handy for collecting your soil samples throughout the yard and putting them together. So once we've done that, I took about maybe, like I said, 7 to 10 samples throughout the yard. And once they're all in the bag like that, you're going to want to mix them up and make sure that all the soil is mixed together so that you get a good aggregate of all the different areas you've sampled throughout your lawn. So really mix that stuff up so that we don't get any goofy results. All right, so what I did was I dumped out all the different samples from throughout the yard onto a garbage can lid, and this brute can's perfect because on the inside of it has this like indentation where I could keep all the soil in one area without it going and making a mess. And I let it dry for a little bit. It was raining a good bit throughout the last few days, and you don't want this to dry out to the point where it's powder. It probably sat out now for about 30-40 minutes, and that's just so you could get in and bust these clumps up a little bit. So now that we've done that, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take out all the organic material throughout this. The roots, the rocks. Well, rocks aren't really organic material, but we want to be left with just soil. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we want to get this to as much just a soil sample as possible. So now, it's going to take a little bit of time, and this is much more soil than you need, but I wanted to make sure this is the first time I've used it, and I wanted to make sure I had an adequate amount of soil that's representative of the entirety of my yard. And you could, if you just wanted to say, I just wanted zone 1, I wanted to see what that was doing, you could just do zone 1. You could do a separate soil sample for each zone if you wanted to. I don't personally think that's necessary unless you're getting into some specific diagnosis issues, but you could leave that up. You could leave that up to yourself. See, that here is a big giant rock. So what we're going to do now, like I said, is we're going to clean this out of all the organics and all the debris so that we're just left with soil. Now that I think about it, and I've mentioned it a few times already, this is one of those perfect opportunities to get out of your house. I think that lawn care is going to need to continue to go on. We can't have our yards all looking out of order and have terrible looking properties because we're in the midst of this pandemic. And lawn care is an excellent way to get out of your house, get some sunlight. It's a beautiful day out here. It's not hot, it's not cold. It's absolutely beautiful. I have no contact with anybody, the girl program, but I am, as you heard earlier, practicing the social distancing. I'm taking that very, very seriously, and I recommend we all do. You know, I have a father that's close to 80. I have a grandfather that's in his 80s, and it's not about us. We have to be unselfish in these moments as young people, and I don't think young people are getting the message enough. You know, again, it's another topic for another day. All I wanted to say is this is excellent opportunity to get out of your house. Like I said, the past couple of days, I've really felt not great. And I don't know if that's because of the virus, seasonal flu, or it's from just being up in the house and not getting out because it's been crummy outside too, so I haven't been able to get out. And when you're in your house day after day, not getting sunlight, not moving around, not just out here in the birds and looking and saying, even in the midst of this, how much beauty there is in springtime, and just the comfort I have in my God, and understanding that He will care for us in these moments. Nothing happens without His intervention. I was listening to Allie Beth Stuckey the other day, and she reminded me of a Bible verse, and I don't know the exact verbiage off the top of my head, but a sparrow does not fall from the sky without God saying it so. That's a paraphrase, but please get out of your house and know that you are loved, and we'll talk about it more on the program. So just get out of your house. Being out in the lawn is an excellent opportunity to get out and get some fresh air without being in contact with each other, and your lawn's going to thank you for it. I don't want to ever call this pandemic a blessing, but this is a great time to make some strides in your lawn and on your property. It's low contact, actually almost no contact with anybody. And for those of you that have ever wanted to get your lawn in order, you can follow along here, and we're gonna get it moving. So let me get to this. Let me stop running my mouth and get to cleaning out this soil.
After about 5 minutes of working the soil, you can see how many rocks and large root pieces I was able to quickly pull out in a short amount of time. Remember, we want to send them a clean as possible soil sample that's free of organic matter, rocks, and other debris, because that'll skew the sample.
You only need this much, this very small, I don't even know, like I said, that's not even probably a quarter cup. You only need that much soil for the actual test. So now that we've gone ahead and we've taken all the big massive stuff out, and you can see all these roots and rocks and stuff, the bulky stuff out, and we're left with this. But you can see there's still some root mass in there and such. So now that we know that this is a good aggregate and it's very well mixed up and it's a good representation of the rest of all the different points throughout the lawn, we're going to take some of this and we're going to put it in our Yard Mastery box, and we'll take this inside and we're going to really clean it out. The better you remove the organics, oh, there goes the Yard Mastery box. The better you remove these roots, you can still see there's a good bit left. The more accurate your soil test would be, because remember, this is a soil test. All right, so now we moved inside and we got a smaller sample, relatively speaking, and now this is where I'm going to go through and really get out the last of the roots and everything else we've been talking about that we don't want in our sample. So now I'm going to go through doing that, and then we'll be ready to package this thing up. Just wanted to show you, I spent about 5 minutes outside separating things, and then about another 5 minutes. So I spent a total of 10 minutes separating it out. And as you can see, it's never going to be perfect. Don't get tripped up on that. Just remove the bulk of the contaminants and you'll be fine. But again, I spent about 10 minutes. You could spend all day if you want. I'm not going to get in here with tweezers and do this. So when I open the jar, you can see that there's that little plastic thing suspended in the liquid. And again, there's people out there that can explain this in much greater detail than me. But what that does while it's in the process of shipping is all the nutrients and everything we're testing for that's in your soil are going to be leached out of that soil through the liquid, and it's going to go into that little ball. And that little ball is actually what is going to provide the testing information. And that all takes place while it's in the process of shipping back to the testing lab. All right, so the soil test has been registered online. Now we're going to go down to the post office and drop the sample off in the mailbox. Little buddy, we have arrived. And now we're just gonna simply, drop it in. Oh no, can it fit? Yeah, it'll fit in the mailbox.